You send a brand asset to the client, and Midjourney drifted so far from your style guide that you're rebuilding it from scratch. Meanwhile, Recraft just exported a clean vector straight into Illustrator. Recraft is built for design control and brand consistency. Midjourney is built for artistic surprise. One of them belongs in your daily workflow, and the data makes it pretty clear which. Test 1. Output quality. The artificial analysis leaderboard scores both tools on an ALO system, the same independent ranking used across all major image models. If your tool is sitting at a lower ALO, every image you generate is statistically worse than what a competitor would have given you for the same prompt and the same money. I pulled the artificial analysis text-to-image leaderboard, and Recraft v3 sits at ELO 1170, Midjourney v6.1 at 1155, a 15-point gap that's narrow but real, and both figures are community reported, so treat them as directional. The split is what I think actually matters. Recraft leads on design and typography outputs. Midjourney leads on painterly concept art, and the overall quality difference between the two is genuinely small. Okay, so the gap here is genuinely tight. 15 ELO points puts them both in the global top 2, and no one should pretend that's a blowout. But the split is decisive for how you actually use these tools. If you're doing brand work, design assets, or anything with text in the image, Recraft's edge is the one that actually shows up in your files. Recraft takes output quality. It holds the #1 ELO ranking, and for design-focused work specifically, community consensus puts it clearly ahead. That's Recraft 1, Midjourney 0, and the score feels right once you see where each tool actually lands in practice. I've spent enough time inside both of these tools to know where the leaderboard numbers stop telling the full story. Drop a comment below if the style drift issue has burned you on a real project. Test 2, generation speed. A designer iterating on a brand campaign might run 50 or 60 image variations in a single session. At 25 seconds a pop, you're losing over 20 minutes just waiting. And that's before you factor in the back and forth on revisions. Speed isn't a nice to have when you're billing by the hour. When I put the numbers side by side, Recraft v3 averages around 10 seconds per 2024 AO24 image. Midjourney v6.1 averages around 25 seconds. One of the biggest problems I run into when using AI agents is turning their output into YouTube content I can actually use to market my product. That's why this video is sponsored by Subscriber, a tool that helps business owners connect their AI agents to YouTube and market their products without spending 10 hours every week creating content. You can connect Claude or ChatGPT directly to Subscriber. It then analyzes your business, website, and YouTube channel to help you create SEO-optimized video ideas, scripts, thumbnails, and even complete videos that actually match your brand. What I like most is that every week, Subscriber gives me a list of high-potential video ideas I can immediately execute, and it can even help edit videos for me, with or without my face, including videos like the one you're watching right now. It's easy to get started, and you can try Subscriber for free using the link in the description below. Now back to the video. Both figures are community reported, not an official SLA, so treat this as directional. But directionally, that's 2.5 times faster, which means roughly 2.5 times more iterations per hour on the same subscription. Recraft wins generation speed. 2.5 times faster per image means a real, compounding advantage across a full design session. That's Recraft 2, Midjourney 0, and I didn't expect the gap to be that consistent across community reports. Test 3, pricing and credits. At the entry tier, you'd expect roughly the same buying power from two tools at the same price point. But if one of them hands you half the images for the same dollar, you're paying a serious premium on every single asset you generate, and you won't notice until you've already burned through your credits. I pulled both pricing pages, and here's what I found. At the $10 a month tier, Recraft gives you 400 credits versus Midjourney's 200 images, which is 2 times the output at the same price. Recraft also has a free tier at 50 credits a month, which Midjourney doesn't offer at all, and Midjourney charges $60 a month just to unlock private mode, which is a real pain point in the community. Recraft takes pricing. Double the images at the entry tier, a free on-ramp, and no privacy paywall makes it the clearer value at every single price point. Recraft 3, Midjourney 0, and the free tier alone is a bigger deal than I expected for anyone evaluating these tools for the first time. So Recraft is ahead on quality, speed, and price. But the next two tests are where things get genuinely interesting, because style control and platform availability are the dimensions where a lot of people's actual workflows live or die. If Midjourney has a real edge in either of those, it could still be the right call for a specific type of creator. Test 4. Style control and consistency. A brand team running a product campaign needs every image to look like it came from the same visual system, same color palette, same type treatment, same feel. When your AI tool drifts between generations, you're not saving time, you're creating a new editing job. And that's before you even get to the vector export problem. I went through both tools' style feature sets, and the difference is pretty clear. Recraft has built-in style presets, trainable custom styles for brand consistency, typography-focused design tools, and vector export that works directly with Illustrator, all community reported but consistently cited. Midjourney's parameter system with its style and SRF flags is genuinely strong for creative interpretation, but it's designed to drift, which is a feature for concept art and a real problem for brand work. Recraft wins style control. Custom style training and vector export into Illustrator are things Midjourney simply doesn't have, and that gap is decisive for professional design workflows. That's Recraft 4, Midjourney 0. Test 5, platform availability and limits. If you're building any kind of automated design pipeline, product mockups, social assets, ad variations at scale, you need a public API. Without one, you're manually clicking through a web interface or Discord for every single image, and that workflow breaks the moment your volume grows past what one person can click through. Recraft has a beta API right now. 1 credit per 1024x 1024 image. Programmatic access works with a paid plan. Midjourney has no public API as of v6.1, so your only options are the Discord interface or the web app, and the Discord first workflow is consistently flagged as a friction point by professional users in community reports. That's not a small gap if you're building anything at scale. Recraft wins platform availability. A live beta API versus no public API at all is about as clear a gap as you get in a tool comparison. Recraft 5, Midjourney 0. And that's a clean sweep across every dimension I ran through. Alright, so let me put it all in one place. Recraft sits at LO 1170 on the artificial analysis leaderboard, generates images 2.5 times faster, doubles your output at the entry price tier with a free tier on top, exports vectors straight into Illustrator, supports trainable custom styles for brand consistency, and has a live beta API for programmatic workflows. That's a pretty hard set of advantages to argue with. Midjourney wins on artistic surprise. Its loosely adherent style system produces painterly, cinematic, concept art outputs that users genuinely describe as things they would never have prompted themselves. It also has years of community knowledge, shared prompt libraries, and a Discord ecosystem that Recraft's newer platform hasn't built yet. For pure creative exploration, it's the real pick. If you're doing design work, brand assets, or anything that needs to go into a real file, Recraft is the pick, full stop. But if your job is creative concept exploration, and you want the AI to take your prompt somewhere unexpected, Midjourney's controlled chaos is genuinely worth the trade-offs. One thing that doesn't show up in either tool's docs, Midjourney's workflow fragmentation is a real ceiling. Community reports flag that neither tool fully handles illustration, vectors, and mockups in one place. But Recraft's Illustrator-compatible vector export gets you closer than any other AI image tool right now. And that's not in the headline numbers anywhere. If Midjourney's artistic side is still calling to you, I ran the same kind of deep comparison on Ideogram versus Midjourney, and the results there are a lot closer than this one. Worth checking out if you're still not fully sold on which tool fits your creative workflow.